Hey everybody, welcome to another VW bus video. I'm very excited to share with you the flooring install and the back seat Z-bed hinge install that we did on the bus recently. But first of all, only about 7% of people that watch my videos are currently subscribed. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, it's free, you can always change it later, and we're looking forward to bringing you more VW bus content. So you guys may have noticed in the last video that we have a giant sticker on the front windshield of the bus at the top, busoutLaughing.com. And if you're wondering what busoutLaughing.com is, well, it's a mobile comedy club that I've started out of the VW bus. And here's some pictures from our first show. We had a lot of friends and family show up, a lot of support, had a lot of great laughs, and overall it was just a great time. Super fun. And yes, the bus pictured here is not mine. Mine wasn't ready in time for the first show. And if you guys want to check us out on the web for more information about our mobile comedy show, it's www.busoutLaughing.com. All the information will be there. And please go ahead and give us a like and a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at busoutLaughing. So let's finally get to the install of the Z-bed hinge and the flooring in the back of the bus. So it was a nice long weekend and my good friend Mike came up to help me out with all this work. So the first thing that we tackled that weekend was the turn signal issue I had. So every time I drove my bus, I had to try to hold the turn signal, hold the steering wheel, and also shift the gears, which was super annoying and frustrating. It really took away from the enjoyment of driving the bus and also was a safety concern. So I had ordered some 3D printed parts from Shapeways.com and I had these ready to go by the time Mike arrived. By the time we got everything put back together, it was so much better and it was so much more fun to drive. We also took out the back seat and used the grinder that Mike brought to get all of the rust off of the bottom seat's frame and repaint it black. We then opened up the Z-bed hinge kit to take a look at what we had to work with, and also considering that we were going to be having a floor in there which would change the height as well. And it didn't take long for Mike to start working on the other preparations that were needed for the bus.
There's just enough pressure to keep the RPMs up.
At some point before it got too late in the day, we went over to Home Depot to get all the things that we needed. We checked some different stores and a lot of the stuff was actually online, but Home Depot seemed to have the best selection of flooring and all the things that we needed in order to start working on the floor. We decided we were first going to tackle the floor before moving on to installing the Z-bed hinge. Once we grinded down the rust spots as best we could, we then used a rust spray that chemically would kill the rust and hopefully prevent it from coming back.
Step on the gas.
And at the end of the long day, we finally had a nice clean white floor, and wow, it looks so much better than when we started. At this point, we called it a night, and the next day we were going to tackle installing the floor. After a good night's rest, it was measure twice, cut once. We had the wood, we had a plan, and we were getting the subflooring placed into the bus. We then did a quick test with the hose clamps to make sure that they would securely fasten the seat to the hinge. So while we were at Home Depot picking supplies up, Mike found these perfect wood slats that we could place down underneath the subfloor that would account for the difference of the highest point of the floor and the highest point of every ridge that ran across the floor. And these were just the perfect height to fill that gap. So then we used the Gorilla Glue, we glued down the strips to the actual floor and laid down the subfloor on top of that.
Concern with this is the two going to line up. So I've got to put the other one in right away so the seams are even.
We then had pre-marked locations where we knew we could screw the subfloor into these slats that we had just glued down.
I love it when shit happens. One down. Perfect.
We then finished screwing into all the other locations that we had by using the chalk lines as a guide. And with the flooring loosely laid down like this, we could see the pattern of the grain that it would eventually be, and also the sizing of how small the smaller planks in the back under the seat would need to be. So we measured and then cut. And it was finally time to glue down the floor.
Hey, cheese!
In between working on the flooring and while we still had daylight, we made sure to paint the bumpers that we had prepped the day before. And it was then time to fit the hinge brackets in the back of the bus. What's that tool called again?
This thing? I don't know. It's a punch, but it's like a
Hydraulic punch.
spring-loaded punch. Unlike, it's distant cousin, the less desirable hammer-driven punch, requires 2 tools, 1 tool.
Selling point.
Alright, why bother with that other thing?
So we used the punch to mark holes where we would then drill into the plate to later secure the hinge to the bus. We knew we needed at least 5 drill locations at most, and considering that the back of the plate was hanging over the edge of the new floor, we didn't think that this was going to matter too much, so we tried to keep all the drill locations as forward as possible and in the best secure spots that we could find.
Ready, set, go.
With a lot of teamwork and a lot of patience, we then tightened the bolts from the top and the bottom. We then worked on getting the back seat installed back into the bus and used the hose clamps to secure the seat to the hinge. As a finishing touch, we put some grease on the sliding door, and after a long weekend, finally we had the floor and the hinge installed. We were all so excited for this work to finally be done, so Mike and I celebrated and took a drive in the bus.
That's a compliment in itself right there. Farts. Look, Grandpa, it's like the one you used to have. Definitely not Volkswagen.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching another one of our bus videos. We look forward to bringing you more bus content soon. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys next time.